Lesson number one, my country people, Dr. Waiting. Listen, whether or not you accept my country people is a force to reckon with. Me, I agree. He's an enemy that is strong. So we got to be technical to what he do. We thank my country people for this wonderful job. Now, we'll go ahead.
Because he could not change the constitution of Senegal.
Why couldn't he change it?
Because there would need to be an election for him to have majority in parliament to pass a bill in parliament that will extend the constitution, the term of office for the president. And he knew that if he went for parliamentary elections or something like that in Senegal, he will lose because the electoral system in Senegal is transparent.
And it's not about transparency now. Okay, now let me tell you something that maybe you're wait, let me tell you.
The system is not transparent.
Well, you say transparent. It is transparent because the laws are written and are promulgated and everyone knows what the rules are. You just need to play the game according to the rules. The problem with Cameroon and Cameroonians is like they just complain. Many of those people that are complaining don't even know the rules, don't even know what they're talking about. Now, do you remember that in 1992, I believe, the first presidential election and the parliamentary election in Cameroon? Do you know that CPDM was a minority in parliament? They did not win the majority vote. Do you know that?
That was when Paul Biya was still struggling to show that he could be democratic, and he saw that if he continues, he was going to be removed from there.
You see, no, listen, you guys have excuses.
The only transparent election that has ever taken place in Cameroon, presidential election, was in 1992, and that Paul Biya lose.
Okay, according to you, let okay.
From that time, he learned a lesson and vowed not to ever organize any transparent election in Cameroon. Okay, from that first election that you going to praise him for that. Are we going to say that
I am not when have I praised him? I'm just telling you the truth and the reality as it is, whether you like it or not. I'm telling you the truth. Okay, based on that first presidential election that you said that it was transparent and people voted and he lost or whatever, the reality is that the makeup of the Cameroon National Assembly, the CPDM was a minority, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. From then on, why did the opposition not take advantage and build on that and increase their seats in parliament? Why did it start going down and reducing?
Because the government framework came in now to dismantle anything democratic in the country.
Well, you see, that's when you talk out of ignorance, my brother, and that's where let me explain now. Let me explain.
We now saw.
Let me explain now.
Political parties.
Well, let me explain.
Their support to the CPDM.
Listen,
and stuff like
if
that.
someone tells you that you're talking out of ignorance, ask him that what part did I say that was ignorant? What part did I not get right? I will explain because we are not fighting. Do you remember that?
Go ahead, just explain.
Right. Do you remember that when after that 1992 election, the next parliamentary election, do you remember that the SDF boycotted?
Yes, and Funzi said that was the worst mistake he ever made in his career as a politician.
Thank you. And then in 2020, Kamto made exactly the same mistake. And you blame President Paul Biya for that?
I am not blaming President Paul Biya for that.
Thank you.
You know very well that Maurice Kamto is not going in for this election as MRC.
Why not?
Because MRC has made that mistake that you said.
Exactly.
They were already out of the race.
Exactly.
They were now going through money. They were going through money them.
Yes.
Where did money them go wrong now?
Okay. If you do, fantastic question. I like when people ask questions. Money them went wrong by their infighting. Full stop. Need I say more?
Why did that infighting come in only on the last day of the submission of the candidacies for the presidential election?
Well, that's where you're wrong. Wait. Ask one question at a time. One question at a time. That's where you're wrong.
Yes.
You're wrong because their infighting did not start today. That's where you're wrong.
Anyway,
okay. Now, shall I explain? Now, let me explain.
In one of the interviews, this Jordan Yebga was complaining in 2022. I know you can use that.
No, not even 2022. Way before that. Okay, now listen.
Yes. You know that the government had intervened and had claimed to have solved the problem, and that was why they knew that there was no longer any problem in Manidem.
Where the government had intervened and claimed they solved the problem. First of all, the irregularities, as the case is right now, okay, can Anisset Ekane, can he show evidence that they deposited files at the Ministry of Territorial Administration with the minutes of their executive changing the president of Manidem from Diodone Yebga to Ekane? Can he show evidence to that?
That is not a question that I can answer, Igwe.
Exactly. Now let me explain. Now
I don't know if you saw, but it was clear online.
Yes.
Where the site of the Ministry of Territorial Administration was manipulated. I mean, live.
No, let me talk now.
Live.
Listen, my brother. Where does it say in the electoral code that the president of a political party will be determined by what the Ministry of Defense website says? It doesn't say anywhere in the electoral code. Okay. Now let me tell my brother, we are talking about law. The code is written down on paper. There is nowhere that says the president of a political party will be determined by what the website of Minat says. There is nowhere that says that. Okay.
That's why I'm saying.
Now let me tell you. Where does it say? How do we know when you register your political party? How do we know that it is registered and it is legalized to function? You have to submit to Minat the documents. They have to go through it, and once it is certified, you will get a receipt. And in that process, you must submit also the president or how your political party will be run. In the case of the SDF, it is run by the way of primaries. For example, before they come to their conclusion as to who will be the national chairman, they have a national executive council that will sit, deliberate, and then elect their chairman. And then after the election, the minutes of that meeting and the national chairman and all of that detail will be promulgated to Minat to say we have elected a new chairman and this is the person now that represents our political party. And if anyone else comes to claim that they represent our political party, disregard it. That is the process. Now, Manidem is a small political party, and they went through that process and they registered the political party. And at that time, Diodone Yebga was the leader, the head of the political party. Now, they had a dispute some years back about this whole thing. And Minat got involved, and whatever was done. And now Yebga's name was being promulgated, and he was even invited to some meetings as the leader of Manidem and all of those things. But the process was not done legally because Manidem did not submit the official document with the minutes that indicated that they had changed the leadership of Manidem. Now, these are things that came up at the Constitutional Council because Professor Maurice Kamto's team could not provide the document, because when you submit those documents to the minister, to the SDO or to the Ministry of External Territorial Administration, you will get a receipt. They could not submit the minutes of when their executive met and decided to remove Yebga and appoint Ekane. They don't have those documents. That is what proves that you have submitted the document to Minat and Minat has received it and sent you a receipt. That's what proves it. Whatever Minat's website says or whatever anyone else says does not pass in court. What passes in court is the official documents. And this is what Professor Maurice Kamto, as the seasoned lawyer that he is, this is what he should have made sure that they had done before he was endorsed.
So Igwe, are you saying that all the correspondences that have been leaving Minat to Manidem,
yes,
leaving Elections Cameroon to Manidem,
yes,
carrying
the name of Yenga
as
yes.
president. No.
Yes.
As president.
Yes.
Were all done by error. That suddenly.
Yes. It was done illegally. It was done illegally. Even if it was signed by Minister Paul Antangaji himself, it was illegal.
I'm happy you are recording. I'm happy you are recording.
Yes.
This conversation.
I'm recording. Listen, according to, let me tell you, my friend.
It's not actually something that affects just me. It affects everybody because we are seeing illegality or terrorism in the way government is functioning.
But my friend, is that strange? Is that strange? We all know that Cameroon is a young. My brother.
Made me to understand your position.
Yes. My brother, Cameroon is a very young. Cameroon is a very young country, very young. Those things happen even in advanced, what you people will call advanced democracies, like in America and Europe. You still get those kind of irregularities. People make mistakes. Corruption. Exactly. So why would you think it is so strange to happen in Cameroon? So strange that a minister cannot make a mistake. Bureaucracy cannot happen. The Cameroon has to be perfect. The electoral code has to be fair. On what continent do you think we live?
At this point, I understand you now very well.
There are irregularities even here in the UK. I mean, America is a country. Okay, let me give you an example. You people want the Constitutional Council to be fair, this to be fair. Is America fair? Do they have free and fair elections in America?
I doubt.
Thank you. There is, first of all, that is the first thing you have to understand. There is no process. That is 100% proof. None.
But should we say that if there are no transparent elections in America, we should give that as a justification why we don't have transparent elections in Cameroon?
No. And I am not giving it as a justification. What I am saying is that for the political oppositions in Cameroon, they are a total disgrace. And they have failed us, and they continue to fail the Cameroonian people. Even President Pobia expects better of them. Honestly, because even the CPDM right now, as I'm talking to you, do you know that the CPDM is forming coalitions?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. And then what not of political parties, mushroom political parties that do not have power? They don't control the state's budget. They don't control anything. You're busy fighting amongst yourselves. But whereas the ruling CPDM is looking for people to form coalitions with, is going to other smaller political parties and telling them, giving them positions and calling them in to form coalitions.
No, but when you have a situation where someone like Isachiro Mahu resigns from the government and with his own party the next day or the next few days after,
yes,
you see a top member of his party breaking away from the party and forming his own party and trying to use that new party to form a coalition with the CPDM. You can understand already that there is the whole thing is just, the kind of corruption in the whole thing.
That is not corruption, my brother. That is called politics. If you don't like the game, don't play the game. If you don't like the heat, get out of the kitchen. That is called politics, a game of interest. The man has seen an opportunity.
Is it accepted, Igwe? Is it accepted like that?
Yes, it is legal. What is wrong with that?
Should we preach that to Cameroonians as something that is correct?
Whether it's correct or not, it is happening. So you have to adapt with the situation. Stop complaining, adapt, overcome, and win. Stop complaining. That's life. If Issa Chiroma was in control of his party and in control of his Congress and knows that his people are going to vote for him, then that should not be a worry for him. Right?
Well,
that is politics, my friends. That is politics. That is going to happen any day, anytime, anywhere in the world. And if you are not prepared, ready to face a challenge like that, then you want to rule Cameroon.
Anyway, you have clarified me, and I think my question is I can now deduct from what you have said that we have a long way to go.
My brother,
Cameroonians will just have to be patient.
I don't see
any change coming to that country anytime soon.
You know why there will be no change in Cameroon anytime soon?
No.
Because Cameroonians are not ready for change. A typical
if that is the case, Cameroonians are not ready for change.
Exactly. A typical example I've just given you is the example.
Let me ask you, because I also saw that you were against protests. Is protesting an illegal act?
No.
Is protesting not a form of democracy?
It is.
When the system is like this and nobody listens to nobody, it is all about what Atangaji decides that goes to the end. And you expect people people don't have any voice, people should not protest. Are you saying that when people come out to protest, they should be arrested?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Now listen and listen carefully. One, before you carry yourself out on the streets, know what you are going to achieve. And two, know that there will be consequences. You will be arrested. Whether it is right or wrong, be prepared for the arrest. Because that is the system that you live in. You don't live in America. You don't live in Nigeria or whatever. You live in Cameroon. You will be arrested. Now, when you already know that, then you can make your calculations. I'll give you other examples. And then again, one, you want to go on the streets, be peaceful. Always be peaceful and know what you are demanding. And what you're demanding should be within the ambit of the law. For example, when the lawyers and the teachers...
Do we see any angry crowds in Yaoundé?
Yesterday, yes, there were people picking stones and throwing at police. I literally played the video.
What happened was when the crowd started gathering, you remember the minister and the SGO of Funzi or something like that had passed a communique that nobody, like any crowds or whatsoever, were prohibited. So when people started coming out, the police started throwing tear gas, and when tear gas starts flying in the air, people are bound to start running up and down. Some are picking the tear gas and throwing them back at police, and that is how those things start.
My brother,
it's not like people just went in there with stones and started shooting places. That was not how it went.
Whatever the case, the video that I saw people picking things and throwing them at police or whoever they were throwing at, that is against the law in every country in the world. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, do that in America. In America...
You are right, but the problem is, the people were not even, they were just in the crowd. They were not portraying anything before the police started shooting at them like that.
Okay, now, like you're saying, okay, like you're saying.
So people are not allowed to gather in a group in Cameroon again?
No, they are. You can let me give you an examples, my brother. Okay, take the example of 11 February and 20th May, the National Day of Cameroon. That could have been a brilliant day for a political demonstration in front of President Paul Biya himself. Imagine if the MRC or the political opposition in Cameroon had flooded 20th May Boulevard with a political message. The whole world will be there. President Paul Biya himself will be there. Why can they not do that? They are waiting for the Constitutional Council, waiting for the day. Why must it only be them? When the opportunities present itself, we don't take it. We only look for the ones that we will go and disrupt. That could have been a peaceful way of demonstrating and passing out a political message, because political parties are allowed to march on that day. It's a national day. Those are examples of days that the political opposition, for example, can literally hijack the 20th May celebration. Why not? That's just an example. Do you think anyone would throw tear gas at them on 20th May Boulevard if they come to march and wave their flag in celebration of their country?
But that is, they usually march and wave their flag, right?
Exactly. But then how many...
So that you want them to go and do in front of the president and on a 20th May?
No.
You know, when you are protesting, you also have to, when you are an opposition, what I know is you are not out to disgrace your country too.
Exactly. But then the problem...
Your president and destroy a celebration like that in the presence of diplomats and international cameras.
Okay, now, my brother...
So how do you do that one?
Do you remember the NSAS in Nigeria when the Nigerians were protesting, not even to change their country? They were protesting against a corrupt police department.
Police force.
Yes. What happened to the protesters?
They were crushed.
Some of them, about a dozen of them, were killed, right? They were shot dead at Lekki toll gate, right?
Exactly, yes.
Thank you. Now, I'm not saying that was right. I'm telling you, this is the game. This is the system. If you go to fight a system, guess what the system will do? It will fight back. Okay? So it is, rather than for you to go and sit down and be complaining, oh, it is not fair, oh, the system is fighting back against me. It's for you to fight harder and stronger. You want to rule Cameroon? Then you have to show us a better game. Because what the opposition in Cameroon are doing right now is child's play. They never even start. And now people in this way, they want to rule Cameroon.
I will agree with you on that one.
It's a total disgrace. You want to rule Cameroon? What do you know what other people went through to change their country? The only thing that I appreciate people like Maurice Kamto is that at least he did not run out of Cameroon and go and be making noise in a different country. He is in the kitchen facing the heat. He is on the ground, which is good. But his political calculations.
You should also, because you made a statement to me that his supporters are calling for.
Oh, well, some of his supporters, like the bars.
Some of his supporters.
Yes.
So you should also appreciate him for not supporting violence.
Absolutely.
Because he has not called for violence.
Yes, absolutely.
They are struggling to tag him. They are struggling to tag that on him.
Yes, and that is politics.
We have seen it.
And that is politics as well. That is politics. That's why, for example, in South Africa, any black person that did anything that was violent, they tagged it on Nelson Mandela and they called him a terrorist, even if he did not even know about the incident. Why can't Cameroonians learn lessons from examples of what have happened around the world? That is going to happen. And if you do not have a strategy to combat that, then you are not ready to rule Cameroon. You're not ready to be a president of any country. You should have a better strategy than to just complain.
Thank you, Igwe. I've understood your point now.
Thank you.
So
the thing is, Cameroon needs a good opposition. Whether I am CPDM or you are SDF or you are MRC or whoever you are, a good opposition in Cameroon would be for the betterment of all Cameroonians. Competition is good. Whether in business, in industry, or in politics, competition is better for the consumer. The consumer in this case is the woman who sells jama, is all the citizens, whether you are a politician. Now I've given an example to a CPDM person who messaged me and was saying that, why am I advocating for opposition coalition? Don't I know that the opposition coalition is giving them strategies to combat, because as you, in your opinion, you think I am CPDM, that's what CPDM also think, that why am I then giving strategies to the SDF or to the opposition? You understand? Whether I am SDF or CPDM or not. And this is what I said to him. I said to him, listen, even in your CPDM.
I didn't say you were CPDM.
No, I know, but yes. Sorry, I said about you, but the majority of people will look at me and they say CPDM, even though I have never registered to be CPDM. I've never even voted, let alone, never even voted at all. You understand? So, and I've never asked anyone to vote this party or not vote this party, but it is my responsibility and my obligation and my right to hold all politicians who want to represent me. I have to hold them to account. It is my responsibility and my right to hold them to account. And if you think, like I said to someone, if you think I am holding Professor Maurice Kamto to account more than the other political parties, fantastic. I have not stopped you from holding the other political leaders to account. If I'm holding one of them to account, you go hold the other one to account. It works both ways. I don't have to do all the jobs. Now, like I was saying, I said to the CPDM person, I said, listen, even within the CPDM, you need competition. It is good for your political party. It is good for all Cameroonians. And I gave him examples because Cameroon used to have one party system, as you know, the CNU, under President Amadou Ahidjo. John Gofoncha, Estimuna, Endele, and all the other political parties in the country were dissolved to form one political party in Cameroon. Okay, and then when President Amadou Ahidjo resigned in 1982, appointed President Paul Biya to take over from him. Now, but then President Amadou Ahidjo retained his position as the chairman of the CNU. He only resigned the presidency. So when President Paul Biya came to power now, and at that time, because it was a one-party state, the leader of the CNU was even more powerful than the head of state. Did you? Yes, because everything was done by the political party. So it was the political party to decide who will be parliamentarian, who will not be parliamentarian, who will be the national executive chairman, who will be appointed, this and that and that. It was all done at the level of the political party, not even the head of state. So President Paul Biya could not effectively run the country when he was not leader of the only political party that was legalized in the country. So that's why President Paul Biya decided to create the CPDM in Bamenda, right?
Yes.
We all know this. So the CNU died and the CPDM was created, and it was still one party system, a system that was designed, created by President Amadou Ahidjo himself. Now the system is working against him, and the Anglophone politicians who created the CNU together with President Amadou Ahidjo, all of them joined the CPDM.
The CPDM, yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, the President Paul Biya CPDM launched election in 1984, so as also to give himself a mandate from the people, so that the people should elect him, because by this time now he was only a president by appointment, right?
Yes.
Right. So in 1984, there is something that President Paul Biya did that many people have never ever given him a little bit of credit for. For the first time under this one-party rule in Cameroon, President Paul Biya allowed competition. So for the first time, the parliamentarians could present two lists, because before President Paul Biya, it was only one list. Once the National Executive Committee had sat down, they would decide from Yaoundé. The National Executive Committee would decide who will be parliamentarian in your small village in Andek, in Momo. They don't even know where the village is. So it was only a circle of their friends. And because of that system, which was crafted and created by these people, that's why you had someone like Estimuna. He was the parliamentarian for Momo and the president of the National Assembly for 18 years. Do you think he contested election with anyone?
You know, that history like that, not everybody will know about that history.
Exactly. Okay, now let me just finish. I will not.
I'm not very versed with that particular history.
Okay, now let me just finish. I will not take too much of the time. Now, what happened in 1984? For the first time, President Paul Biya said, okay, now as we're going for this parliamentary and presidential election, he stood as the only candidate because it was only one party. It was a one-party system. And now for the first time, he opened up for parliamentarians. Each parliamentarian position, they could produce two candidates, two lists. For the first time, there was now competition in who would be parliamentarian. As a result of, yes, but still one party. So the same party but produced two lists. So at least there was options. The population were given an option, right? Competition. There was a choice. So as a result of that 1984 parliamentary election, about 80% of the parliamentarians, they all were voted out, including the people like Estimuna. That's when Estimuna lost and left parliament. For the first time, he was the president of the National Assembly for 18 years. That's when he was voted out. The first opportunity that the population had a real competition, they had a choice to vote the alternative. Guess what they did? They voted the alternative. About 80% of the National Assembly was changed in 1984. That's competition, right?
Yeah.
And that happened within the CPDM, right? And it was good. The population had an option, so they chose
to choose someone
else. So they chose, and because of that system within the CPDM, that's why you can even see competition. You can see younger people like in Cambe, you have the Honorable Ngala Gerard, young, dynamic, ambitious youth entering politics and becoming parliamentarians. They're becoming mayors, they're becoming parliamentarians and entering government, like Minister Fu Callistus, becoming a minister. All of those things would not have been possible under the old Ayejo system, where the national executive decide, and they only decide on their friends, and they will know every 5 or 6 years they just call election, and there was only one list. So there was no point.
So in that kind of election, how were they voting if you were not willing, you were not supporting, or if you did not like the candidate that was on the list, you are bound not to vote, or you cast an empty vote, or how was it done?
You just vote the candidate, whether you like. You vote the person, whether you like him or not, or you don't vote. My brother, that's why I keep telling Cameroonians that Cameroon is not Niger, Cameroon is not Burkina Faso, Cameroon is not Mali, Cameroon is not Gabon. Cameroon has a unique system that has been built by Cameroonians, by our historical makeup, how we gain independence and how the country has been formed. It was created by us and can be dismantled by us. But there is a way to do it. And so far, the Cameroonians who want change have not unlocked how to come about that change. That is the problem of Cameroon. The problem is not that the system cannot be changed. Whenever President Paul Biya has received enough pressure, he bows to the will of the people. Have you never noticed that?
Yeah, that's true.
Even with multi-partyism, President Paul Biya bowed to the will of the people. The funniest thing is that President Paul Biya is actually a president who listens. He does. Even though it takes him time, but he usually bows to the will of the people. And he's not the kind of head of state who just kills his political oppositions and make them disappear. No, he has a different way of doing politics. His way of doing politics is bring the opposition to his side, and then there is no opposition. You understand?
Yeah.
So look at.
Thank you so much. At times, when you read and when you read at times and you talk, you get a different perspective.
Yes. So like I'm telling you,
with somebody in the house, and I was like, why is he writing this kind of thing?
My brother.
But talking with you now, I really have a different understanding of everything.
I don't look at Cameroon as I'm saying. The system is built by our people, and when you want to fight the system go fight back. And if you not be prepared for fight, the kind of fight where you go win, or you fight, you think say na basketball they play, where different way they play na football, you know whoever win. We continue making the same mistake every day and every night, and then continue complaining about it, but then nothing changes because we keep making the same mistake. A mistake that SDF, Nature Fruity, made in the 1990s. Maurice Kamto come and repeat it in 2020. I mean, we complain that there are too many political parties, but Maurice Kamto is creating a party. This one is creating a party. And then you are not seeing that Maurice Kamto is the problem. Why did he create the MRC? When the SDF was there, he could have strengthened the SDF. Look at the mobilization that he mobilized his militants in 2018. That could have been backing a political candidate. Look at now, he's not going to be in the ballot. What is the plan B? You know? Thank you, my brother.
Okay, thank you, Igwe. Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
They say they fight to set us free, but all we see is misery. They came with fire, they came with guns. Now we they cry for our daughters and sons. Our village is burned, our people flee. We live in fear, no place to be. This one has come, we never start. Now pain and sorrow, they tear us apart. But the nation call with open hands. DDR, go help us stand. from the grip of fear and blood. We go rise again with God. Hey, 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 then Kunko Masa. We the Cameroonians, we pledge our loyalty. Kunko Masa, Komasa. You shall free our land from terror. Oh, Kunko Masa, Masa, eh. Your blessing will shine like stars above, and the Most High God shall be your guide, shall be your guide. Children when no go school, ghost towns turn market to tomb. They promise freedom, bring us chains, but now we rise to break that pain. We say no more to blood and hate. We choose the path to a peaceful state. My country people talk I'm true. Say peace go start with me and you. Cries from the grass fields, our mothers born pikin for bush. No hospital, no midwife touch. Kidnap and ransom don't turn to law. Even church no safe, them break God's door. Our future they lost for gun and fear. Young boys forced to kill their peers. Ambazonia freedom fight, but now we they suffer day and night. Let the drums of peace be loud. Let our mothers dance, make our fathers proud. From Banenda to Bua town, we go wear our green, red, yellow crown. Hey, 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 Dinkonko Masa. We the Cameroonians, we pledge our loyalty. Konko Masa, and Konko Masa. You shall free our land from terror. Oh, Konko Masa, Masa. May your wisdom shine forevermore, and the Most High God shall be your guide.